This is my presentation on political division. Now, real quick, I want you to raise your hand if you know anyone who always argues about politics. Politics have always seemed to take over the conversation table in recent years. Rivals in the political sense, the Republican and Democratic parties have always been at ends with each other. Not until recently, though, have the two sides brought extreme divide in America. The modern Democratic Party was originally founded by the seventh president, Mr. Andrew Jackson. The Grand Old Party, or Republican Party, was first brought up by Horace Greeley, but was made popular until Honest Abe ran for president. Division wasn't really a pressing issue until the Vietnam War, when many took to the streets to protest peace, not war. Now, with the social media and corporations playing a factor in politics, tensions have been rapidly increasing. Just recently, the U.S. has revealed the true extent of the divide in America. Hundreds of Trump supporters sieged the Capitol building, with some having the intentions of killing. Now I want you to think to yourself about how many people died in that riot just because of opposing viewpoints. BBC News had released a video segment in 2014 on the growing divide in America.
So if you watch TV, or read the paper, or check out the old Twitter, the growing political polarization in America is hard to ignore. Well, now, new polling data by the Pew Research Center confirms just how extreme the gap is. The story starts with this rocky-looking thing, which is actually a snapshot of 1994. It's the distribution of political views. Here, at the highest middle point, we see that 49% of Americans held mixed political views. Now, forward we go to 2014, where that middle of mixed views has shrunk, and the number of steadfast liberals and conservatives has increased. Okay, let's see that change again. Now, Democrats and Republicans have always butted heads, but more and more the disagreement is turning pretty dark. Here's the changing percentage of each party viewing those in the other party as very unfavorable. Now, in 2014, there's also a good chunk who think the other party is actually a threat to the nation's well-being. What's interesting is that this polarization isn't just about politics, it's about a way of life. Pew Research surveyed people to see if they'd rather live in big houses and a spread-out community, or a place with smaller houses and more walkable. The answers of people with mixed political views were about a 50-50 split. But look at the split in preferences between people Pew Research identified as strong liberals and strong conservatives. Overall, Americans are more likely to hold mixed political views. But it's those with mixed political views that are also the least likely to cast a
Fear
vote.
that now, since Biden has been securely put in office, that great repercussions will soon emerge. The worst case scenario will be that a civil war between both sides. It is obvious to any person that Republicans are on a short fuse, and one wrong decision could light them. Quickly to delay the rising tension in politics, a PSA was made to help highlight the actions that any person can accomplish starting tomorrow. Okay, so I want you to raise your hand if you hate Trump. And I want you to raise your hand if you hate Biden. The president has been on the throne of America and on the throne of controversy for some time now. People nowadays only talk about Trump or Biden as a spokesperson of each party. So to solve this issue, a presidential race should take place with no political representation. How will we solve the issue of political divide among the people? Adam Hines talks about overcoming political divide in his new TED Talk.
You know, a big issue here is that I feel like we have to go in the automatic first step when you see this contentious interaction and say, all right, we need to shift energy and move towards a process where we can actually talk to get underneath and talk about ways that we can actually work together. Part of the challenge in these shifts I've described is that power has shifted. Right? If the old way was that, okay, we're going to get power, we're going to create our lines, we're going to use our money for influence, we're going to get the politicians we like, we're going to get the policies that'll help us, that doesn't work if there's a stalemate and the policy is going to change as soon as someone new comes in. And so for me, where we are now is that the real power described as getting other folks to work with you to meet your needs, it comes from relational powers. And it comes from working with folks so that you can actually understand each other and get to something that's sustainable. It grows out of restoring the reciprocal obligation of democracy. I love that word. And so at some point, you might want to take a stand, and it helps for leverage, but at some point you're going to have to take the time to be with each other in a problem-solving process to really get what you want. Now, problem-solving isn't easy.
Final thoughts of this presentation are that there is an ever-growing tension in America, the main factor being politics. To combat this, the people must take peaceful action to unite with each other as a whole country. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have an outstanding rest of your day.